On June 4, 1913, Columbia University in New York City hosts its 159th graduation ceremony. Participating in the event, having earned his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, is Edwin Howard Armstrong. Life is good for Armstrong. Upon graduation, he accepts a laboratory assistant position at Columbia, where he can further develop his regenerative circuit, a radio amplifying invention that brings him a bit of celebrity at the school and promises to keep him busy. While in school, Armstrong discovers a way to modify and improve the amplification of inventor Lee DeForest's Audion tube. Shortly after graduation, Armstrong applies for a patent for his discovery, and it's approved in 1914. Excited about his new invention, Armstrong writes a technical paper explaining the operating features of the Audion for Electrical World magazine. He then demonstrates the Audion's behavior during a meeting held by the Institute of Radio Engineers. Lee DeForest, a member of the Institute of Radio Engineers, learns for the first time how his Audion can amplify sound electronically. Although Armstrong has invented a new technique for amplifying electromagnetic waves with the Audion, Lee DeForest challenges Armstrong's patent with his own. Legal battles over the invention will last 20 years. When the United States enters World War I in 1917, Armstrong is commissioned as an officer in the Signal Corps. The primary task of the Signal Corps is the management of communications, and because radio technology has become an essential military tool, Armstrong is ideally suited to aid the Allied cause. While serving in Paris, he develops the superheterodyne circuit, which represents his second historic contribution to radio technology. We can understand Armstrong's superheterodyne circuit by examining the field of music. When you use a piano to help tune a guitar, you are simply trying to make the string of the guitar sound the same as the note on the piano. As you adjust the guitar string, you are creating two notes with slightly different frequencies. This wah-wah sound is called a beat note. Here is the sound of a radio-generated beat note. Back in 1905, radio pioneer Reginald Fessenden uses the beat note method to detect high-frequency electrical signals in his radio receiver. By applying a second locally generated signal to his radio receiver, he makes the desired high-frequency signal audible as a beat note. The overall effect is that a radio signal can be moved down to a range where we can hear it. Fessenden coins the term heterodyne for this effect, taken from the Greek words for different forces. As a captain in the radio section of the Research and Inspection Division in Paris, Armstrong sets out to solve, among other problems, two issues. First, how to intercept the Germans' high-frequency radio messages, and second, how to detect the very high frequencies emitted by enemy aircraft engines. The challenge is that the Germans are transmitting messages at 1 to 3 MHz, and aircraft ignition noise occurs at a high frequency of 10 MHz. Existing technology cannot tune into or amplify these megahertz waves. Working at the Signal Corps laboratory in Paris, Armstrong has a brainstorm idea. Using the heterodyne principle to change the incoming signals to a lower radio frequency, where they can be detected and then amplified by existing equipment. Because this intermediate frequency is well above audio range, Armstrong dubs this as the supersonic heterodyne receiver, or superheterodyne. Virtually all high-performance radio receivers still depend on the superheterodyne principle. You likely have several of them in your cell phone. The war ends before Armstrong's superheterodyne circuit can be used to detect high-frequency German radio messages. In the years to come, however, it will become a standard part of radios and televisions. For his work and dedication, Armstrong is promoted to major, and the French government honors him with the Chevalier Légion d'honneur, Legion of Honor, as he prepares to return home. Back home, for the time being, everything falls into place. Armstrong wins a series of lawsuits squashing DeForest's claim over regeneration technology. He patents his superheterodyne circuit and sells it to the Westinghouse Corporation, a pioneer in manufacturing radios. Armstrong is on top of the world, and he literally demonstrates this to impress his future wife. In 1923, he climbs up RCA's radio station antenna in New York City, 400 feet above 42nd Street in New York City, and performs daring stunts in front of photographers. He is immediately banned from the building, which has little effect on Armstrong because he is one happy guy. His regeneration and superheterodyne circuits have revolutionized radio broadcasting, making him a wealthy man. Being on top is just fine.